Okay, hoping that this works. Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk about task two for the video recording. I'm going to be trying to share screens and do things like that, and I hope it all works. But let me just first describe what the assignment is so you guys can work on it. The idea is that I want to see what you would look like if you were teaching. So the the struggle, of course, is that we're not in the classroom, we're not face to face, you don't have students in front of you. So if you could record yourself teaching for, say, 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, like sometime in that window, teaching something that is very much obviously part of your content area. If you've got a PowerPoint that you want to show, that you can show on a screen, but as much as possible, try to recreate a classroom scenario so that you're standing further back than I am, like right now. Like, so if you're like back like this far, sorry, this is my bedroom. And that way you're sort of more like at the level that the students would see you at. Because what I'm going to be looking for is a number of things. And so maybe if you have like a PowerPoint, a screen going up here, if you have a way to, if you would do a share screen and you have a way to click through things, I don't have that. So I'm doing the best I can with what I have. But the idea is that I want to be able to sort of focus on things like your teacher presence, your voice, how you sound. I know all of you very well, but I have a sense of some things, so that I'm going to give you some feedback around individually. But be great to be able to watch something and see you sort of as if you were in front of a class. Okay, so 5 to 10 minutes, videotape yourself, something of you teaching, send it to me and I'll give you feedback on it. Okay, that's the directions. I'm going to save this right now and I'm going to try to make multiple recordings that are all pretty short. So this is called the directions for the task 2 practice. Before I do that, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to comment on a few things that you need to think about for task 2. And I'm going to try to share a screen here. Let's see. Okay, so right now you'll see a TPA handbook. This is for math. And task 2 says it's on page 19. So read through this before you start, so you can do your best to review what the rubric suggests and says. So you'll notice it says, what do I need to think about? What kind of learning environment do you want to develop in order to establish respect and rapport and to support students' engagement in learning? What kind of learning tasks actively engage students in the central focus of the learning segment? Notice the language of engaging students. So you want to make sure for task 2, you're doing something where you are doing some teaching, they are doing some activity, sort of a back and forth kind of thing. How will you elicit and build on students? So that means don't do all lecture and don't do all totally student-centered. It needs to be a balance between student-centered and teacher-centered, okay? How will you elicit and build on student responses in ways that develop and deepen content understanding? That's going to be based on how you respond to what they're doing. How are you encouraging them? Are you giving them sentence starters? Are you asking them questions to help guide them? Are you giving them different sort of supports and pushing them, asking for more, raising the level of expectation, thinking about zone of proximal development, all the things we've talked about. And then what ways will you, and you know that, also know their names, make sure that you know their names and you use their names. Make sure you have students who are English language learners if possible and students who have special needs, because you're going to want to talk about them when you write about it in your commentary. In what ways will you connect new content to your students' prior academic learning? So that's the time when they want to see you in the video saying things like, remember what we did last unit, or what we did last week, or the work we did yesterday, or what we're doing relates to personal, cultural, or community assets. So thinking about, again, this is just a practice, an imaginary one. So think about, what are the personal assets your students bring? Maybe this is a very artistic class and you can talk to them about the music they make, or the art that they do, or the theater that they do. So think about connecting in some way personal, cultural, community assets, stories from their families. I've seen some videos where people have talked to students in math and talk about distances, right? And ask students, oh, your family, you moved here from China, or you moved here from Guatemala. Let's take a look and see what was the length of travel and how are we going to apply it to this math problem. It seems corny, but honestly, that's what they want to see. How will you use evidence from your instruction to examine and change your teaching practices to more effectively meet a variety of student learning needs? That's you. That last prompt is really about you being critical of yourself. When you look at your own video and talk about what will you do to so the next time out teaching them, maybe it's I'm going to make sure I connect with more students because I notice I focus on only one side of the room. Or it seems like this particular content I was teaching, I went over it really quickly. I want to assess next time I see them to make sure they got that part, and revisit it if necessary. So that's the kind of thing they're going to want to see for that bullet point. Okay, I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to do another video in a second.